Hello everyone. First off, I hope you are all well and in good health at this frankly very difficult time that we are all, for one reason or another, currently facing. We have heard so many times now that this is uncharted territory, and that of course doesn't exactly help one to keep a positive outlook on life. We know that people are suffering all over the world because of COVID-19, and the immediate reaction is, well, not exactly one of calm and relaxation. And yet this video is meant to be a small, minuscule perhaps, way to help those of you who don't want to be defeated by this whole situation. I want to try and think that however things might look right now, wherever you are in the world, well, that things will get better at some point. Things will improve, maybe not as quickly as we would want them to, or not as thoroughly, but they will. Of course, people who are gone will not be brought back. Politicians who have not been very helpful will not necessarily be forgiven. But realistically, what can we do so that we don't lose our minds here? Let me tell you a little bit about me and how I am doing in these uncertain times. At the moment, my life, just as much as pretty much everybody's life, has been put on hold. Projects that I had hugely been looking forward to, or that I had counted on because they would have been great also from a financial point of view, have been cancelled. Things that I love doing, for instance playing in my local orchestra, are also not happening until further notice. Trips I had planned have either been cancelled or will have to be rescheduled. Who knows when. None of this is good, of course, or makes me particularly happy, but I am trying very hard to think about the things that I am left with, and all of those things that I can still do and make the most of. First and absolute foremost, my friends and family are doing well, and that is the number one thing I hold on to. Little tangent here, which I do think is somewhat relevant. In 2009, my hometown, L'Aquila in Italy, was struck and largely destroyed by a very powerful earthquake. People died, people were displaced, homes and businesses were destroyed. It was what in my life at that point was accounted for as an unprecedented tragedy. I will, however, say that even though at the time I was completely terrified, scarred for life, unable to withstand even the smallest tremor without experiencing a fight or flight reaction, I was often told by the likes of my father, for instance, and I am very grateful to him for that, that we as a family were actually lucky. We had lost our house, things, a city, etc., but we hadn't lost anyone. We were alive and well, and that was the only thing that we should be focusing on to start with. He would remind us that one of his closest friends had lost a lot more than just a house and things in the earthquake, namely his own father and his two only children. Now, let that sink in for a minute. My dad would go on saying that we should help one another, help those who had lost people in this tragedy. We did not need as much help as they did, because picking up the pieces of a broken life is particularly hard if you know that people dear to you are no longer in it. Fast forward to almost exactly 11 years later, and we are now facing a very different kind of crisis, yet one that shares many similarities with the 2009 earthquake and other disasters that we as individuals may have experienced in our lifetimes. So what can we do to avoid feeling too dangerously down at a time like this? To continue to view life as something worth living, to essentially keep sane while all of this crazy stuff is happening around us? Well, here are some things that I propose. Number one, if you are lucky enough to be able to make use of the outdoors, as in you are not quarantined and haven't been instructed to just stay home all the time, go out and take in some sun, fresh air, nature. All of this is unbelievably good for our body, but even more so for our minds. Number 2, if you feel that whenever you pick up your phone or laptop or switch on the TV, you are inundated with apocalyptic or overwhelmingly distressing news, then try and take some time away from those things. Of course, it's essential to stay up to date, but how about setting aside 2 to 3 times during the day to do that? 15-20 minutes each in the morning, afternoon and evening. But then make a point of not doing it the rest of the time. Number 3, particularly if you're stuck indoors for long periods of time, why not use the extra hours you have on hand to do all of those things that you always complain you never have the time to do? Reading, pottery, painting, hugging your pets, etc. Those are all things that will help you tremendously in keeping you balanced. Remember that anxiety, fear, distress all lower significantly the ability of your immune system to respond to illness. So try to stay put and as positive as you can. Finally, and whether or not you are confined within 4 walls, remember to stay active, whichever way is available to you, whether it's yoga, running in place, jumping the rope, or indeed going for a solitary jog outdoors. Do what you can to keep yourself in a good space, both physically and mentally. Of course, let's all try and be sensible and not do anything crazy which may cause injury, but you know what I mean. Okay, my dears, I will leave it there, but I do hope that we can all help one another at this frankly very strange time in our history until things will go back to normal, whatever that normal may look like. One last thing I want to mention, please be considerate towards those who may find it hard and may struggle to get their supplies and essentials, and so try not to shop too much more than you normally would. Panic buying has no reason to be here, and it will impact negatively those who are not able to stockpile on things. I'm so sorry I had to say this because I'm seeing way too much crazy stuff happen at this point all over the world, particularly concerning the usual suspects, i.e. loo rolls. Okay peeps, I will be posting more language learning videos, but also more travel videos. Seeing that we are all at the moment unable to actually travel, we can at least travel with our minds and imagination. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe, stay active, and I will see you all very soon.